Well, it's a chilly night, not quite as cold as yesterday, but -5 will do us very nicely indeed. The snow's going to stay in good condition throughout. Everyone looking forward to this first individual race for the men this season. It's become a tradition, Mike, to start with the longest race on the programme. Are you a pro or con, Matt?
I like it. I think it's out of the way. You get the first of only 3 that happen this season out of the way early season, when you're on paper fresher leg than you are after many World Cups. I think it's the right thing, and I think it's a great test to see how they've managed their training, their shooting training, that is, in the summer. This race is more about the shooting than it is about the skiing.
Yeah, we didn't see too much evidence last night that people didn't have the race endurance for the 15k. I know the 20k is another 25% added on, which is significant. But you don't feel that a couple of sprint races would just fire them up, get rid of the cobwebs before they did a long one?
It's a nervy one, I must say, and a lot of the women yesterday alluded to that. They just didn't know quite where they were going to sit, but there were actually 12 athletes who shot the perfect score in the women's race yesterday, hitting all 20 targets. Unheard of. I'm not sure the men can achieve the same shooting score today at that high level. We
will see. Lots of old sweats in there. Svensson going 33 ahead of Schlesinger and Roche, all well over the 30 mark now, and some youngsters there as well. Good to see Tim Burke racing. We didn't see him in action over the weekend. Scott Dixon goes number 56. Can he match Amanda Lightfoot's top 30? Where did she end up? 32, 33?
31, I think it was.
31. So that will be a PB for Amanda yesterday, and we'll see how Scott Dixon gets on. Simon Foucault goes 78. Oliana Bjorndalen, a former winner here only 2 years ago. He won here, a rare win in an individual, and he goes number 80. If last night's anything to go by, the conditions got no slower as the night went on. And actually, with the starting temperature at -5, I think that bodes well, even better for the later starters.
I think it does. The track doesn't break up here either, as athlete number 1, Martin Ottenas, breaks the way, if you like. But they've all been out on these tracks skiing around in their warm-up. So I think there'll be very little change in terms of ski glide from start to finish.
I thought you were going to call him a fall-alpha for a moment.
He was on fire as he left the start gates.
Now, what about this man, Benedikt Doll, the world sprint champion? We'll use that as much as we can this season. He won't be he's going to stay world champion for 2 years, because with the Olympics this year, no world championships. 27, Benedikt Doll. He's a bit of a scrappy skier, but when he's on form, he's as quick as anyone. Very much.
I thought he looked laboured, and in fact, look at him from the start. He's kind of laboured. He's not overly dynamic. He said he's not feeling at his best at the moment. Well, first race of the season.
Sean Doherty for the United States comes from Lake Placid. He's only 22, so we're still waiting, what, 2-3 years before we expect to see him achieving what the likes of Bailey and Burke have achieved over the last few years. But I think that's definitely possible. 13th in the World Championships. That was a good run.
Quite amazing. A small town, Lake Placid. The Olympics came there in 1980, only 2,400 people, but they keep producing, just from that small population, top-class winter athletes.
Yeah, that's a 13. 13th is his best. He actually didn't do 13th in the World Championships. He was down in 58th, having missed 4 targets. Dessieux for France, and the French need something to cheer about. Wasn't a brilliant night for them yesterday. Durana Bear certainly well below her best, but we would expect that. She'll be focusing on February. Simonader getting ready to go. Andrei Morovets will go first. Now, this man took an Olympic bronze in the mass start. He took silver in the World Championships last year, missing out on the gold by only a couple of seconds behind Lowell Bailey. And Andrei Morovets, is he a man just for the big occasion, or do you think he's got it within him to stay top 5 or 6 throughout the season?
I don't think so. I don't think he's on best skiing form at the moment. We saw that at the weekend. Unless he backed off as the mixed relay went on, he was certainly about 45 seconds off the pace over the shorter distance, but he certainly is a 20k major championships man.
Now, this man finished 4th in the Olympic Games back in 2014 behind Foucault, Lesser, Garanichev. The way things are changing. anyone who finished fourth can start to think in terms of medals. And incidentally, on that note, there have been one or two changes in the medals in terms of Sochi cross-country. Didn't manage to check to see whether biathlon have made any changes yet, but I think there's more to come. The 5th of December, big day when they decide whether Russia will partake in the next Winter Olympics. Birkeland starting for Norway, won the mass start. In fact, Bjørntegard was going well in Sjusjen, and the Norwegians, they've still got really their squad of 4, and it's been so difficult for the likes of Bjørntegard and Birkeland to break into it.
It has. Labe Lund is in today, and I think he'll set one of the top 5 ski times, Labe Lund, but he's not that good. He's in the last group. He's not that good on the rifle, sadly.
Semenov from Ukraine, inspired maybe by Zima's performance yesterday.
I think the one thing we can say about Semenov, Patrick, is that he's going to hit 19 or 20. I know it's a bold statement. Yeah, there is a little wind influence today, but he is that good when it comes to 20 shots and a minute on each of them.
9th man away is Mario Dolder. Comes from Zeglingen, which is between Basel and Zurich, if you know your Central European geography. A little bit closer to Basel, so close to the borders. And Dolder, a disappointing World Championships. Looks good. Skis very similar to Benny Vega. Could just do with 20 targets down today. Maybe that's absolutely necessary to win. Vladimir Iliev. Last year he was best in the sprint. I don't think he shot clear on any occasion last season.
Well, in this race, the 320 kilometers last year, including the World Champs, I think he missed a 4, a 3 and a 2. A 5, a 4 and a 2 misses. So it needs to be getting 19 out of 20 or 20 out of 20.
Clement Bauer. 42nd in the World Cup standings last year. He was his best season, his most consistent season, was back in 2010 when he just broke into the top 20 of the World Cup standings. But he's got a huge amount of potential. He's very quick and he's solid enough, just below 80% in the prone position, but way off the mark in terms of standing. Is he going to do this year what the Americans managed to do last year?
I would love to see that. I'd love to see Clement getting the shooting under control all of the time. We see the odd flash of magic. In fact, he was 9th here 4 years ago in this race, only missing 1. That was one of his best performances in a 20k.
Now you tell me why the Finns, and particularly the Finnish men, have not really done anything since 2000-2001.
They used to be one of the leading nations in biathlon. Of course they were when biathlon first came on, the first World Championships in 1958 and then the Olympics 60. They were at the top end. I can't explain it really. When you look at Rovaniemi, when you look at Joensuu, you look in Lahti, all the facilities for biathlon everywhere around the country. I think they are getting better this season, the men's team.
Let's hope so. Lucas Hoffenau for Italy, comes from Brunico, starting well, raced well in the on the last leg of the mixed relay last Sunday, had a real tussle with Svensson and actually closed down on the Norwegian on the last lap. But he was, you know, he was gutted with his performance on the prone shoot. He really should have gone on to take the win for Italy.
Yes, his prone shoot round the penalty loop, he just could not. His alignment, I think, was wrong. He put it together in the stand.
Danny Mesetic, 41 years old. He was at the World Championships in 2009, which were held at the Olympic venue for next year. Took a silver in the relay on that occasion. Landertinger, of course, coming home with a gold. So Pyeongchang, a venue that the Austrians have done well at. So I think they'll be fairly excited about next February. Krishmar now for the Czech Republic. Top 20 of the World Cup last year. That's not a bad marker. I suspect, having finished 17th last year, he's aiming, what, top 10 or top 15 this year?
Oh, I think he's an improved athlete. And remember that great moment at the World Championships? He hit all 20 in this race and finished 6th. And that was a confidence builder, I think, for Krejcmar. Certainly looked very good in the mixed relay here.
Otsenes through the first checkpoint.
I know we see it's nice to see the high part of the course, which Benedict Doll is coming up to now in this split time at 2.8. But Patrick, the terrain that they've just thumped around, way back down, deep down in the woods there's some very fast corners, there's some extremely fast descents into corners, and then this major climb up to the high point.
Yeah, each lap, as I'm sure you know, is 4 kilometres, so an extra K on the women's loop last night. 2% the penalty effectively for every missed target.
It's quite a chunky penalty, and each time they go around the 4 kilometres, to the first time they'll shoot prone, then stand, then prone, then stand, then 4 kilometres to the finish.
Well, here's the Olympic bronze medalist Yevgeny Garanichev, and good prone shot, generally in the 90s at the end of the season in terms of his prone shooting. Be interesting to see what he does today. 3 is Sean Doherty. Looks as though Simon Dessieux has taken a little bit of time out of the American. 7:02, the fastest up to 2.8, and Dessieux is going to be outside Benedict Doll's time. Dessieux actually going inside, and the American Doherty outside.
This is looking very strong. Well, he's looking so easy. Dessieux shows the strength in each one of those strides, and you don't want to be pushing too hard on this first lap of 4 kilometres. Keep something within.
Yeah, we saw a couple of very quick laps in the women's race last night early on, and some gained up to 15 seconds on the first lap, and virtually all of them lost more on the last lap than they gained on the first one.
Well, Mona Broersen was one of them,
yeah.
But she lives here, she was inspired, she really set the first lap on fire, and as you say, it come to the 5th time around, in the women's case the 3 kilometre, and the energy has zapped away.
Yeah, I think Broersen could have finished 4th or 5th had she paced it a little bit better, but take nothing away from her. Hitting all 20 targets in front of your own crowd is very, very tough indeed. And of all 3 podium finishers yesterday were saying that in their career they've only ever hit the full 20 in an individual 2 or 3 times in their career.
It's very rare, it's a very difficult thing to do on any given day.
Ada disappears over the high point for now, and then a sharp leftish turn, building speed as you go. And it's interesting is that the better skiers, Mike, tend to take a slightly tighter line, but not so tight that they lose their speed. So they start tight, then just drift wide to maintain the speed they've built up.
And I hope we see Bjorn Dahlen going over that little rise. He tends to get a couple of flicks of extra power, and Fourcade will do the same as over the crest of that descent, just to pick up a few more meters of speed.
Now, cast your eye onto the right of the screen. The wind pretty much the same as last night as Julian Eberhardt sets out for Austria. Eberhardt 3 wins in his career already.
Well, by Oestersund standards, the wind influence here is pretty much minimal, barely affecting the fall of the shot.
Yeah, the forecast was for some fairly stiff winds come the weekend, but we'll see if it materialises.
Positive rhythm, but one shot missed there, 1 minute added onto his time. You could feel the pain.
Benedict Doll just slower than Dessieux out on the tracks. Dessieux will be in a minute's time or so. Needs 5. Oh, unlucky.
Man. I was just about to say, the fall of those shots were so dead central, and then that last shot he snatched it, pulled it to the right.
Working from right to left. And was it possibly the wind? It's picked up a little, might have been that, might have been positioning as well. Iliev through the 2.8. Good fast start from Iliev, and Iliev's a solid shot. So if he can keep that pace going, he could be in the money come the end of the night.
He's picked up pace over in Shushan 3 weekends ago. He was so flat, but then yes, you're suppressed from the big workload, the hard training, end of October, beginning of November. Certainly looking in race condition now.
How many races before you felt you were in form?
I certainly needed between 3 and 5 races before you get rid of the summer training and back onto the business of skiing and shooting. Dessieux, second fastest into the range. Benedict Doll really picked his pace up out on the track. Nice.
Well, they looked just a fraction high, but central enough from Dessieux. Good consistent shooting, and he takes top spot. A decent margin ahead of Doherty, who has exited. A gap of almost 23 seconds. So Simon Dessieux starting very, very well. That will settle the nerves in the French camp as we watch André Morovitz, the world champion silver medalist from Hochfilzen last year. Anton Shapulin about to get underway. Number 2 in the World Cup last year, Shapulin. Many thought he might give Fourcade a run for his money. No chance. Fourcade with 22 podiums from 26 races. Astonishing.
The interview at the start of the programme was interesting. Fourcade's perception of himself is not what everybody else has in their mind of his abilities. He's so good.
Simonader. Maybe an individual, but he's not hanging around. Fastest shoot so far. Sorry, we didn't get the clock on that one, but that was a really quick shot with something like 1.9 to 2.1 in between each shot, and he's come out with a lead of 2.4, and I'm pretty sure that Ada was not leading coming in.
Well, he was 7 seconds off Dessieux's pace, and he's pulled all that time back in his shooting pace. That comes with risk. Now, Birkeland, statistically last year, I think he was 4th in the world from all the shots he fired in World Cup racing and World Championships. And hey, yeah, great start.
Well, he hasn't missed this season so far. That's a good start. And coming back to Simonader, you say his fast shooting comes with risk, but you also say when he shoots slowly, that's risky because he never does it.
Well, thinking back to Ada, the only time we've seen him shoot slowly was in the relay at the weekend when he hesitated a long time, 35 seconds to get the 5 standing.
I think we saw him do a slow shoot in Hochfilzen at the World Championships, and it was early on in the Championships. And we both thought that's unusual.
Dolder 10 seconds behind Iliev's best time coming into the range. And a bad start. Your mind absolutely cannot do anything but feel that there's something very wrong. Now he's missed 2.
Yeah, and he knows with 3 misses, he is not. Is he on the wrong target?
That's the most painful. No, I heard they were missing. He can't figure out what to do. He's gone 2 clicks to the, well, he's clockwise, which effectively puts the sights further left, and it worked.
How frustrating is that? How frustrating. 3 gone. And chances of any World Cup points from today's efforts are virtually nil. And you can see that he's just crawling out of the range with Vladimir Iliev on his tail.
It's a tough thing to deal with. Dolder now realises that he can't make the top 30.
Yeah, Iliev not going to be happy either. We've been singing his praises in terms of his shooting, but he's way off the mark. Simonader leading, 10:56 the time. Remember, that's 4 kilometres skied, plus 5 targets down. Dessieux, Birkeland, Morovitz and Doherty all clear at the moment. Emil Hegler-Svensson, what season is he going to have? What was your verdict on the mixed relay, Mike? He took the last leg, shot brilliantly in the prone, missed 3 in the stand, but made each and every one of his spare rounds count. I think that might have made him a little bit shaky, nervous.
I think it will. And certainly at the press conference later, he kind of shook his head. Don't know what happened there, but luckily it was the first race of the season, and he stayed. He managed to stay as he left the range 6 seconds ahead of Hofer, who so nearly hauled him in at one point.
Hofer the fastest into the range. Only 2 seconds clear of Iliev, but it's not quick for the first shot to go. 23.9. Remember that. We're going to see some who are considerably quicker.
He's holding his breath for 2.5 to 3.2 seconds in between. That's quite a long hold. Generally, you want to exhale a little and then hold 1.7 seconds. It begins to shake. Your pulse is felt through the rifle. Yeah, that's a pity, I think, for Hofer. He would have wanted to have cleared that first 5 shots.
Well, here's the main man, Martin Fourcade. the winner of the overall trophy last year. 6 times he's won that Crystal Globe, and looking to go into uncharted territory by making it 7 this year. He will focus, he'll be able to concentrate on both the World Cup and the Olympic Games. That's the strength of the man. And it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Doesn't always have a brilliant time in Oestersund, but he generally goes home having had a win at some stage.
He does. You mentioned he often has, in fact, one season he missed 4 out of 5 shots in the Prone, unheard of. I think it was the Prone. But he certainly looks powerful and strong, and as usual, so well balanced, locked onto his skis.
And he has won this race 4 times. And in fact, if you take the last 7 times this race has been run, only 3 men have shared the wins. Martin Fourcade with 4, Svensson with 2, and Ole Einar Bjorndalen. Only the best win here in Oestersund, it seems.
Incredible. Greshmar. What is going on with the wind? I can't understand it. So yes, they zeroed, looking at my watch now, they zeroed at the latest they could 20 minutes ago. The wind is coming stronger from the right, so that could well be the issue. It was slightly from the left 20 minutes ago.
And actually, Mike, as we watch Granichev, talking of those 3 men, Fourcade, Svensson and Bjorndalen, between them, 198 World Cup wins. That equates to 8 seasons of racing. That's how dominant they've been.
That's phenomenal. And back in 2008, of course, Svensson won this race, the 20-kilometre individual here at the World Championships. Bjorndalen was second. The big names float to the top.
Yeah, that was a great race. Granichev 1 miss. And so far, we have 7 men clear after the first shoot. And Mesetic, who started 14, also getting all 5 down. This is Maxim Svetkov, and Svetkov's time into the range is not particularly quick. He's 26 slower than we saw from Lukas Hofer.
Svetkov, part of the relay gold medal winning team from the World Championships in February.
Johannes Tingesbo is underway. He was quick in the relay, but I'm not sure that wasn't because it was just necessary. He had no option but to chase on the first 2 laps and then try and do some damage on the last lap that he took as well. He ended up in the winning team, Johannes Tinges.
Well, Johannes is starting 2 minutes exactly behind Fourcade, so he'll get all the times that he needs on the track.
Artem Prima. Ukraine with Sergei Semenov already out on the tracks. Semenov down in 14th place after the first shoot, having missed. Prima gets 5. He's going to do a lot better than that. That's a good start. And 10:55 on the clock. It's going to be, what, just over the 11-minute marker. 8.9 the margin. Good start. He'll be happy with that. Wind picking up a touch. Just need to be aware of that. Now here comes Julian Eberhardt, and down in 9th position in terms of his ski speed. Mike, are we seeing different tactics from Eberhardt? Last year on his best form, he could have been 15 clear.
I'm a little surprised. That's certainly not the Eberhardt we saw even in the first World Cup race last year, where he was always setting top 5 ski times, even towards the end of the season. He certainly improved or picked up his shooting pace. He was slower than this last season.
That's nice shooting.
Beautiful.
Great shooting from Eberhardt, 6th in the World Cup standings last year. And if he can keep showing that sort of consistency, then he's a man who's highly likely to come back from South Korea with medals. Simon Schemp, 2.1 outside the best. Another potential champion from February. Just as though he's taking it easy.
I was just going to say, just gently getting into the tuck position, not getting the extra smash through his ski poles or through the legs to pick up the... And the glide, it's important to glide up that left-hander. You then rise up again before you come down into the fields. He missed one in the prone, he's missed one in the stand. Doll.
Now, can you tell me who the last man to win an individual was missing more than 2 targets?
Ooh. Let me think that one through. We don't get many of these individuals, just 3 a season now. We used to have 8 when I was racing. Bjorn Dahlen, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, Bjorn Dahlen at his peak when he could outski people. You're absolutely right there, but where was it?
Would it be Antholz?
No, Pyeongchang. 2009
of course,
World Championships.
And he skied the wrong way.
And he went the wrong way, yeah.
But they didn't mark that track well, did they? And they learned from that.
So from that little stat, probably worth saying that if you miss more than 2, you've not got a chance now at this level.
I don't think so. Well, Foucault did it. Well, he missed 2 at the World Championships. And just off the podium there, of course, it was Lowell Bailey who took that gold. Moravec second. Oh, half and half. So close. Jean-Paul just could not believe that. It so nearly flicked the target over. And that's going to really cost Dessau. I had him for a podium today. He may still be able to do it with missing 1 target. Still 28 inside. Ottsunus missing as well, incidentally. Well, it's a long, drawn-out race, this one. 108 starters, so we've still got a long, long time before everyone has got their race underway. Let's just update you on the first shoot. Ada, Destio, Birkeland are the fastest. We didn't see Birkeland go through for Norway. Eberhard, Vega, Prima, Bauer, Svetkov making up the top 8. And as I say that, Anton Shapulin's just slipped into 7th place, having gone clear on the first shoot. This, of course, is Anef and... well, the Bulgarians are struggling a little today. This is amazing me. That's first 2 shots missed. We've seen some athletes missing 3. Of course, that was Dolder. Just showing that the wind changes, catching so many of these top biathletes out. Birkeland.
No one shot clear last year in this event. Foucault missing 2. Johannes Tingis was second, missed 2. Birkeland takes his tally to 9 out of 10. Well, maybe a 90% hit rate is going to be enough. It's possible Simon Schemp will be hoping for better than that.
Or his teammate Eric Lesser. He normally holds his nerve so well in this, the 20 kilometre. And Simon Schemp, for the wind, he's added the 200-gram weight at the end of his barrel. Not a bad idea. But missing your first shot, he's done well. He's kept to his normal rhythm. Routine is best. Good man. Mark Kirchner. Well, he won his first World Championship senior medal when he was 19-year-old. The sprint. Went on to win a further 4 of them.
Long, long look down the range. Having a look at the big screen. And I suspect he'll be after some information about where that first shot went. And that will no doubt give him some indication of what he did wrong. Mike, if you're high right, low left, high left, low right, how does it translate in terms of what the mistake was?
Low right, the mistake. Low right generally, when it comes to the wind, you've got that wind pressing down from the left, so coming either forward or from the side from the left, and the opposite from the right. The wind's coming from the right, it throws it high left into that zone between 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock, on the edge up there.
But of course, it's not always the wind that is the problem.
It's not. Alignment plays its part, and right elbow slip generally. You can also have that missing low right by the right elbow coming back too far. And the most important thing is if your alignment isn't natural and easy directly on, well, the middle target, because there is an arcing effect. It's 1.2 meters wide, the target. You do get an arcing from first shot to 5th.
It's a quick first lap from Svensson. One of the big 3 in terms of wins here, but that's going to be expensive. 38 World Cup victories to his name, and he'll need to hit the next 15 if he wants to add to that number. Clement Bauer on his first standing shoot. Now, watch this with interest. 3 out of 3. Generally gets the first 3.
Come on, Clement.
Yeah, like
Beautiful.
it. That's what we want to see, and we need more of that all the way through the season.
Oh.
So 10 out of 10 for Clement Bauer, 22:11 on the clock, and he's going to be just outside Simon Eder, who is one of only two or three now, with Moravec going clear and Bauer going clear. So Eder, Bauer, Moravec, 10 out of 10, and they are 1, 2 and 3 on the leaderboard at the moment as Martin Fourcade comes in, heading for lane number 2.
Look at his time, Patrick. Already he's stamping his absolute authority on this race. He's 12 seconds ahead of Hofer, who set the earlier fastest time into the range. That's a huge margin. Although he's buying himself recovery time, so that may drop back that 12-second advantage.
Outskied, not by much, but outskied by Bjørntegard and Johannes Tingesbo in Sushen, what, a couple of weeks ago.
Can't argue with that. 19.1 to his first shot, so he did buy himself a long recovery time.
Well, that's fairly standard by his record. We could have predicted that. 13.8, it's a good margin. Here's another man who can win if he shoots well. Rastoguyev, he's sort of in the same camp as Bauer, isn't he, in terms of not bad on the prone, but struggles a bit with the stand. So you've got Rastoguyev, you've got Bauer, you've got Jakob Fack when he's well, and I guess you've got Julian Eberhardt as well.
I thought that was a great start from Rastoguyev, and he's had some help this summer with his shooting. Norwegian expert giving a lot of time and just trying to settle his mind and the skills that he has, improving them.
Betters started exactly a minute behind Martin Fourcade, but he's already lost some 25 seconds to his teammate.
Well, guess who's faster? There he is. Guess who's faster than Martin Fourcade. He's 3 seconds up on Fourcade coming into the range, and you'd expect Johannes to shoot a little faster. You hear the breathing.
Yeah.
He's determined to stick with or be ahead of Martin on the track.
Is that the way to race? We'll find out fairly shortly. He lets that first one go at 14.4, so he's gained another 8-9 seconds on Fourcade, but he needs to make it 5 out of 5. That was a little bit low, and that goes high, so not the best of groupings, but all 5 are down. Mazet can breathe again, and Johannes Tingesbo is out of the range with a lead of 10 seconds over the world #1.
Well,
the speedsters are there, Mike. Bo, Fourcade, Rastoguyev.
yeah, the fast men of biathlon. Eder is now 23 seconds behind Johannes with the same shooting.
19 hitting all 5 on the first shoot. Here's Dominic Vindish. He's one of many World Cup winners here.
Yeah, into range 15 behind, but that looks good now because it's just Johannes and Martin Fourcade who are ahead of the rest. Rastoguyev's 10 seconds behind Bo. Yes, it was great to see Vindish winning his first World Cup over in Canmore, wasn't it? The whole field were chasing him down, and he managed to survive at the front.
Yeah, a mass start. What an occasion. He won't forget that day for a long time. Here comes Svetkov. First 4 looks solid. Watch the eyes. Yeah, no blinking, no snatching of the trigger, and a very, very confident looking shoot from Svetkov.
Rico Gross, German coach, former world champion himself, looking happy. Well, he didn't actually look happy, but I'm sure he's happy with that performance. Only now 4 people have hit 10 out of 10, and 18 have gone through the range. Of course, Rico Gross, the German ex-athlete who's coaching the Russians.
Now, Phil Maillet. French. A little bit disappointed with their results yesterday in the women's individual, but they've got plenty of strength in this men's 20 kilometre. Now that looked a little low, the last one. Targets seem to be falling a little faster than last year. It's quite difficult to pick up on where the round has gone. Could be the targets that are falling faster, or the eyesight that's working a little bit slower. Now that begs the question, how on earth does Bjorndalen see the targets clearly?
As in the fact that he's nearly 44-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, long range sight, I think, isn't as affected as much as the close working sight when you get over your 40s, into your 40s. And
you don't actually have to have a crystal clear vision to equalise the gap around the target, between the target and the sight.
No, because you're absolutely right, because one of those two, you cannot be focused on the target at 50 and have a very clear picture in the foresight. The pupil, the eye doesn't work that way. So, of course, either both are blurred. Beautiful start from Arne Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer, it's been a little bit of a struggle over recent seasons. Starting number 45 today, so he's right in the middle of the field. Pfeiffer's career, he had 8 victories in his time, and of course sprint world title out in Chianti-Manzisk. Now can Tarjei do what Johannes Tingis did a couple of minutes ago and clear the 5? In terms of ski speed, Tarjei is some 15 seconds down on his younger brother.
Look at the first shot, though. I think his younger brother, Johannes, was 14.2 to the first shot, so they're very similar routines.
Yeah, and 28.6 total time for Tarjei. That's going to put him right up into the top 4, having come through. In fact, he was in 4th position coming in. Simon Dessieux, early starter, on to shoot number 3. He's made his first mistake, and in terms of position, down in 8th place after the second shoot, and he's going to go rocketing up the order if he can clear these 5.
Looks a very strong, confident, prone position, as long as those flags aren't, or the wind blowing the flag isn't affecting him.
Oh, but he gets lucky this time. It topples, but only just. And Dessieux lives to fight again. 2 minutes and 7 off the pace, and he would have been a long way from the podium, but he's still got a chance of making top 3 tonight. And if he can get a good shooting result, Mike, and ski well to the end, then that's going to give him, that's going to put pressure on some of the big names who've started later.
I think so, and Dessieux 12 kilometers completed now. The legs will begin to feel a little fatigued, without a doubt, on the terrain here.
156 for Chapulin on the pulse, dropping down to 150 when that last target went down, but a miss from Chapulin. Now Simon Eder.
He takes a little time locking into his
arm cuff. Any reason why he locks in when he's standing up? Most of them lock in once they're down in the prone position.
Yeah, Bjorndalen does it this way as well. Personal choice. I mean, they try every possibility, every option, and this secures his position into his shoulder before he goes down onto the mat.
A little bit slower on the prone. Paying off so far.
Well, that's so unlike Simon Eder.
Yeah, 5-6 seconds wasted minimum. Look at the gap, 8.9 seconds instead of 2.5. Now Birkeland for Norway, like Dessieux, threw one wide on that first standing shoot, but 15.3 for preparation and an average of 2.4 between each shot. That's a solid shoot, under the 28-second mark, and Birkeland he's got himself back up into 2nd place. Eder, who's clear, has left in 33.31. Another 8 kilometers to ski, 5 more targets to try and hit. 51 is Varabai from Belarus. Simon Schemp in 8th place after 2, 102 behind. Still the fastest after the first shoot, Johannes Tingesbo for Karas de Guyev. Looking at the second shoot, Eder Eberhard Vega. So certainly an Austrian taste of things at the top of the leaderboard at the halfway stage. He's done well over the last few seasons. How handy being the son of a coach.
Yeah, very much. And I remember when Seaman was just 6 years old, he was with his father who was doing racing at the World Cups, and you just saw him hacking away around the tracks after the races were completed, and you just knew that he was going to be up there with the best and winning world titles. Babikov. So often this man is controlled, relaxed, composed when it comes to shooting and when it comes to the 1 minute penalties.
Good from Babikov, good from Svensson as well. And what's Svensson's time going to be? We'll just keep an eye on that. Can't be bad. Svensson into 7th place, 51.2. That early miss in the prone position proving very expensive. Now, Bauer. Yet to miss. Change on the sights. Is that a couple of clicks anti-clockwise? I think it was.
I was looking at the scores there. Anti-clockwise. So he's thinking the wind is now coming from the right, adjusting into the wind.
Nice start. 15 out of 15. Now that would shake the season up if Clement Bauer starts with a 20 out of 20.
That would be so good.
Martin Fourcade, 4-time winner here in Oestersund. 20 out of 20, and the chances are he'll make it 5. Johannes Tingis matching him for speed so far, and starting exactly 2 minutes behind the Frenchman. That's a long, deliberate shoot, not going to get anywhere near the 27s we've been seeing. 30.3, but it doesn't matter. Much, much more important for him to clear the targets. If he has to make up 3 seconds, he's capable of doing it on the snow.
He is, and he's got 24.6 in hand. That's ahead of Eder, who lost some 10 seconds in his 3rd shoot. Well, Rasteguyev's prone was looking much better, but the stand at the moment, still 1 shot to go. That's okay. That's okay. He's fast enough.
And with some of the early starters heading towards the finish, Oleana Bjorndalen just getting underway. Got the victory here in November-December 2015. It would be historic if he could manage it, take his tally of wins up to 96. Martin Fourcade closing down on that number. He's up to 63 already. And I think at the beginning of last season, he just got his 50th win. And we suggested he might get to 60, not really believing it, but he bettered that with a phenomenal run of success. Equalled Magdalena Forsberg's high tally of 14 wins in a season. Now, Johannes Tingis. Pressure switches from France to Norway, with Martin Fourcade having gone clear on shoot number 2.
Beatrix just missing the middle shot, shot 3. This is fast. I love the statement with his golden gun.
30 seconds from Fourcade. That's a lot quicker. 21.3, and that 21.35 is going to be beaten, not by a huge amount. I think Fourcade the quickest out on the tracks on that 2nd loop, but Johannes Tingis Bo still has 17 seconds to play with, and he's already gained all that in the range over Fourcade. Dominic Vindish, early mistakes. He can relax now.
Quite difficult to come back from 2 minutes added onto your score after only 5 shots fired. It can go 2 ways. You think, okay, forget that. Get all my skills back for the 2nd time in.
A couple of clicks anti-clockwise for Granichev as well.
Granichev, well, when he won that Olympic bronze, well, 4 seasons ago now, he only missed 1 on that day, 34 seconds behind Fourcade's winning time. And he's missed 2 here today already.
Yeah, he's more likely to be 3 minutes behind Fourcade with those misses.
So the flags, the wind is coming off the lake, which is at the away, 2-3 kilometers over the back of the end of the shooting range. It's definitely picking up a little. Johannes Kuhn. Kuhn, 8th fastest ski time into the range, so a late starter but skiing fast. A later starter.
Yeah, 26, so it's taken him a while to break into the German squad. What's important for him now is to get 2 or 3 consistent results. Really needs to be in the top, has to be in the top 30, really wants to be knocking on the top 20, and then he might secure his place for the rest of the season. Svetkov starting, number 18. Never won a World Cup. He's come close on a couple of occasions. (14 out of 15). As we watch Phil Moyer. So far at shooting number 3, only 2 men have gone clear, Ada and Bauer. And Phil Moyer with 10 out of 10. Not a bad start. Ski speed, he's only just outside the top 4. And he should go ahead of Vega. He does. So into 5th position for Phil Moyer. And that means that after 2 shoots, Bo Fourcade, Ada, Eberhardt and Phil Moyer are the top 5 positions.
Well, it's still the big names at the moment. Bjorn Darlin still to come in for his first shoot. Should be in soon, actually.
Eberhardt might, despite going clear, 44 seconds behind. I wonder whether the Austrians have delayed everything a little bit this year in preparation for the Olympics. They'll certainly do something different from last year, because they only came away from their own World Championships with, what, 2 bronze medals. And we were expecting to see the likes of Eberhardt and Ada, you know, on the podium, maybe every other race.
We were indeed, and especially with the way Julien was skiing in every race. He's certainly not appearing to be as fast so far, although he is picking his pace up as this race progresses. He's been skiing within himself so far. That's 12 Ks gone now.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it. Tarlier, late starter. Not sure how much he knows, but he'll probably be aware that his brother is leading. We'll have seen that on the big screen. Oof. Well, it's not going to be a double in terms of brothers on the podium. May not get either of them on the podium, but it's looking good for Johannes Tingis. And of course, he had a good ding-dong battle with Martin Fourcade at this race last year, with Fourcade coming through to win in the end. Similar situation, actually. Johannes Tingis leading early on.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And then missing, I think, on his last shoot last year.
Yeah, he missed 2 on his last shoot. Fourcade missed 2 on his first prone.
Benny Vega, that's a good start. Vorschlager there, just looking delighted. And that's three times in.
Yeah, that makes it 5 men clear at the 12-kilometre marker. Benny Vega, one of them. 29 seconds down.
Well, Dessau, on his previous stand, he had the last shot, it was just missing by a fraction. And it's the 4th shot this time. 2 penalties in total. Well, it might still be good enough for a top 5, a top 6. Unlikely.
I think it's unlikely. He's lying in 6th after 3 shoots. Another miss. Surely he's going to be lucky to hit the top 10. We will see in half an hour's time or so. Eric Lesser, very quick with the first round, and he's not hanging around. That's great shooting from Eric Lesser, and I suspect even quicker than we saw from Simon Ada. Certainly quicker than Simon Ada's first prone. Scott Gow for Canada. The Canadians delighted yesterday with Julie Ransom's performance into the top 10.
Yeah, that was good. Ransom hitting all targets, 9th position. Scott flew over earlier with Brendan Green and his brother for Shushan last year. They just came into this event with, what, I think just 1 day after flying over, they were in this race.
Looks like Shapulin could stare down the target. The focus 100%, and he gets all 5 this time round, so 14 out of 15. Simon Eder, one of 5 men clear after 3. Can he make it a full 20 out of 20 and start his season off in the best possible way?
Again, he's taken a long time by his standards, 18.3 to the first shot. Biathlon has missed another.
So seldom we see Simon Eder hesitate between shots, but he's done it and he's missed, and he's gone and missed again. So the situation getting to Simon Eder, he will have known that a podium finish was on the cards.
Well, Eberhardt has picked up all the shooting speed that Simon Eder has appeared to have lost.
Now, Simon Schemp.
Schemp was very fast in terms of shooting. First time in, second time in, and same again this time, a bit lucky there. It was an edge shot at 4 o'clock, but Mark Kirchner will score that, as we are, as a 0.
Most successful German on the tour at the moment, with 12 World Cup wins, Simon Schemp. Svensson has been here many, many times. I think probably his most memorable visit to Oestersund, 2008, the World Championships, when he got his first world title, and a couple of occasions out skiing Ole Einar Bjorndalen. It's sure one way of making everyone take notice of you. Very much, and he'd flexed his muscles previously in that 6th position at the Olympics in 2006, but this is where it all came good for him, where he believed he was a world winner and carried those medals to prove it. That's a nice shoot. Very, very nice shoot. He'll be thinking about that first prone shoot and the wasted target. Take a minute off his time, and he would have been over 30 seconds clear of Julian Eberhardt. So Svensson is on the march, and if Eberhardt does what Eder did when he comes in for his last shoot, that might open up an opportunity for Emil Hegler Svensson. Simon Fourcade just settling for his, not sure whether it's his first or his 3rd shoot. Martin Fourcade coming in for shoot number 3. Is he going to go alongside his brother? I thought it was a smile I saw there, but no, kind of a grimace from Martin. Come on, Clement Bauer, love to see him get these 20. That's 19 out of 19. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Clement Bauer, well, it's very rare we see him get to 19 without a mistake, but all credit to him. 19 out of 20, 95% hit rate. What about Martin Fourcade? Yet to make a mistake. Only 20 seconds on the clock. Slower than we've seen from Johannes Tingesburg. And with 3.9 in between rounds, what's this going to be? 30, 31, 32? Possibly 34, 35 yeah, it's going seconds. Up and up and up. But the targets are down, and we keep saying that is what matters for Martin Fourcade. He can work wonders. I think he took something like 15 seconds out of Johannes Tingis on the last loop last year, and he'll believe that he can do it again. That's the Guye. Second mistake. And he's going to plummet down the order. After the second shoot, he was in 8th position. He was in 3rd position after the first shoot. Well, Ole Einar, look at his time, 37.5 seconds slower than Johannes on the track. And of course, Bjorndalen's missed 1. 37.5, yeah, that alone would have pushed him down to 15th position. Are those ears suddenly getting to him? What did you say? He's going to be 44 by the time we go to South Korea. His birthday's in January, isn't it? So Bjorndalen's struggling. I think the hardest thing he might have to do this season is qualify for the Olympic Games. And he's not going to be handed a position on a plate. That is certain. It's a very tough team, and that makes Bjorndalen's performances or results even more spectacular when he's in the Norwegian team, having to qualify. Fighting he should have gone to Belgium. They're buying. They're buying athletes at the moment. They've got a German, they've got a Frenchman now, Fabien Claude. And they're going to be racing in the relays to try and gain World Cup points and lift them in the World Cup score. Johannes, slower routine this time. It was 14.2 previous time to the first shot. It's 19 this time. Needs this. And he's got it. He has got it. The two leaders have yet to make a mistake. Martin Fourcade exits in 32.47. He had 17 seconds last time round. He's gained another 3, and he's done that again with his shooting, which was significantly quicker than Fourcade. So 3 shoots gone for these men. Bo, Fourcade, Eberhard, Eder are the top 4. Clement Bauer, remember he missed on his last shoot, but he could still get himself a top 5 position. Now, would you like to be in Johannes Tinges Bo's position, or would you like to be in Martin Fourcade's position? Fourcade having started 2 minutes in front.
I think I would prefer being where Johannes is, especially with him carrying 20 seconds at the moment lead time on Martin, and I think Martin will have been given that information. So Johannes knows he can buy a bit more comfort time to set up his position last time in. We'll have to wait and see. Martin will be careful. He'll want to get all 20, and I think he will.
And last year, Mike, Fourcade started 2.5 minutes in front of Johannes Tinges Bo and still managed to produce that incredible finish, which we saw a number of times last season. Granichev exits. It's consistent, but not the sort of consistency he wants. 4 misses, 4 minutes added. In that time, he can ski a 1.5 kilometres without any problem at all.
Yeah, 4 minutes punishing, and for Granichev, that's probably what, outside the top 40 today. Oh, there's lots of yellow on the range at the same time.
No one clear at the final shoot as yet. We've got, what, 6, 7, maybe 8 clear after the 3rd shoot. Christian Gower, Canada, has joined those without a mistake after 15.
Babikov, one of them, Weger, Bauer, Eder, Eberhard, Fourcade, and of course Johannes Tinges. Jesper Nellen shooting fast there, but he missed his 2nd shot.
Phil Maillet still clean for shoot number 3, and he's lying in 5th position at the halfway stage. Phil Maillet. Three to 3.5 seconds in between each round. Rhythm was not the best, but it was good enough, and he's cleared 15, so he stays number 5 after 3, and the margin between himself and Simon Eder, who's in 4th, is 4.5 seconds. Getting closer in terms of time to the leaders. Now, is Julian Eberhard going to be the first man to clear all 20? There's your answer.
Well, I think he coped well after missing the first shot there of his last 5. I thought he might lock in and go tight and stress, but he kept calm and controlled.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to hear the instructions that the racers are getting from the coaches and the timing splits? The French, I think, will probably inform Martin Fourcade that he's up against Johannes Tinges Bo, and he'll know that he's going to have to produce something on the last lap. With Bo starting 2nd of those two, Mike, would you tell him that he has to go clear? Will you tell him what Fourcade achieved on the range?
I don't think so. I think you just let him run his own race and stay settled. He's put it together so well so far, Johannes, and as long as he can keep the same mindset, you don't want to change that mindset coming in.
And then save the information for as he exits the range for the last time.
Definitely, and of course Johannes running 20 seconds advantage at the moment, but it's a huge gap as Dessau finishes. A huge gap down to 3rd place. Eberhard, after the 3rd shoot that is, was a minute behind, and then we saw him miss a further 1 minute target.
So 56 minutes, the leading time at the moment. Alexander Loginov starting so late. Now, there have been 1 or 2 press releases on the continued investigations into doping allegations at Sochi, and rather than talk through them, they're lengthy, but they are publicised on Biathlon World, so if you're interested in updating yourself on that, worth a read, but you need at least half an hour to get through the 2 press releases. Now, Benny Weger with 16 out of 16. It was number 20 that denied Clement Bauer, not Benny Vega. He started his season well. He has another look down the range just to confirm that they all fell, and he exits with a clean score. 20 out of 20. Eric Lesser shooting very quick tonight, but one mistake in the stand will keep him off the podium the way things are going, Mike. With Johannes Tingesbo and Martin Fourcade shooting so well, you've got to shoot clear if you want to be anywhere near the top 3.
You've got to hit all 20, and Benny Vega, even hitting all 20, he's 3 seconds, only 3 seconds ahead of Eberhard after the last shoot, and of course Eberhard has missed 1.
Birkeland's going into second position ahead of Benedict Doll. Simon Dessieux stays number 1 with 56.22. That's still quite a lot slower than last year. Martin Fourcade, 49.33, I think was his running time. Here comes Simon Eder. Those 2 misses at the end, costing him so dear. Still manages to go into third, but 55.24 could have been worth a top 5. What about Shapulin?
He's normally a strong mind, a strong man on this last shoot. Perfect. And we see that in the relay, we see that in sprint racing when he really demands 5, especially the last shot, the last time in. He's one of the best.
Yeah, he would have been comfortably inside the leaders had he hit 20. Freddie Lindstrom.
He's missed 2 already, up coming into his last and final shoot. Both in the prone. On the 20th. Well, I think the Swedes were expecting a lot today from Freddie, from Jesper Nellin as well.
Yeah, Brorsson, a good surprise for the Swedish fans yesterday as we watched Simon Schemp in the top right-hand corner. Simon Schemp on his last shoot now. Down in 12th position after 3, 2 minutes behind. And that extra miss is going to push him even further behind. Sometimes I think it's a shame, Mike, that the pursuit here in Oestersund isn't based on the individual race.
It would be good, but I mean, and they have done it in the past. They have the time, the deficits, the time, just split it in half. It would be good, but you get the buzz of it from the sprint.
Lukas Hofer down the last hill. If he's got decent glide, he won't have to do too much between here and the finish, but he's raced enough to know that even half a second can make a couple of places different. Emil Hegler Svensson on his last shoot. He's missed number 4, and Svensson's going to plummet down the order. He was 8th after 3, 1:30 off the leaders, and he's now going to be at least 2.5 minutes down on the race leaders.
Well, Svensson's magic's not there. What about Clement Bauer? He's only 12 seconds behind Hofer. And what a pity he missed that 20th shot. You just see with Babikov how controlled and composed he is. There's just very little movement.
Yeah, very calm. Very calm. But that only comes with a supremely high level of fitness to be able to recover quick enough to be able to stand there looking as though the pulse rate's gone down towards somewhere like 60, 70 beats. It's not the case, of course.
Babikov is not the fastest, but when you can hit 20, it certainly sets him up for a top 5.
Now, both Fourcade brothers on the range together. This to push the pressure back onto Johannes Tingesbo.
Interesting. First shot missed.
Yeah. And look at the time between preparation.
Oh, and the third.
He has opened the barn doors for Johannes Tingesbo. 2 misses, but now you definitely wouldn't tell Johannes what has happened.
No.
Simply because it would just get that mind working, and you really just want to put the mind into neutral.
Well, the coaches, he's a huge character as Johannes Tinges. Maybe the coaches will think, right, we'll put a smile on his face. Martin Fourcade's missed 2. Maybe we'll take the pressure off. I know I wouldn't tell him anything. But Fourcade missing 2, you can't make that stuff up. That's Rastaguyev's changing his shooting order, trying to take the pressure off what was the last shot. Now it's far right. That's the last shot and has worked so well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he started with the central shot on the last stand position. 18 out of 20 for Rastaguyev, 19 out of 20 for Clement Bauer. Times are changing in biathlon, and maybe that's what we could call the American factor, because they showed that with the work, with the extra training, the standing shoot really isn't that difficult. Now, Jakub Fak, he's clear at the moment. Nice to see him back, Mike. Had a couple of hard seasons.
He's had a tough time. Of course, at the majors he's done so well. At the moment he's doing fantastically well on his comeback.
I'm pretty sure I read that he'd been doing quite a lot of training with the Ukrainian women, following Velopech around, who's worked with him. Now, this is a big moment. Is Johannes Tingesbo going to take the first win of the season? 5 out of 5, and you would have thought it was inevitable. 4 out of 5, and he's still going to beat Martin Fourcade, but why not do it in style? And Johannes Tingesbo has kept the Norwegian contingent of the crowd happy. 20 out of 20 on his first individual race of the season. That is what he needed, and the time, 2 minutes 4 inside Babikov. He can cruise the last 4 kilometers. Well, there you see the order with all the shooting completed for these 10 men. The top 3 all shooting the perfect score. Mike, any later starters? I know Phil Maillet was clear after 3. He should be in to shoot in the next minute or so. Any other later starters who've gone clear? Jakub Fak, but I think he's too far behind to threaten this man. Yeah,
Jakub's time, he's 1:52 ski time behind Johannes Tingesbo, so there's no chance of a comeback for Jakub. And to threaten this man, it looks like at the moment we'll have to keep an eye on some of the later starters. Of course, Loginov is still out there. He's just started bib number 101.
How much importance should we put on the fact that Johannes Tinges took 12 seconds out of Martin Fourcade on his first lap? So he skied his first lap very, very quick, and lap number 5 of a 20k is tough.
It really is. And Martin Fourcade, the mindset that Martin's carrying now, you just saw him draining of self-confidence. What on earth happened in those last 5 shots? The mist of fear and tension seemed to come over Martin Fourcade. It's so unusual. I'm quite certain we'll see him putting it right in the next race.
Julian Eberhardt driving for the line. Now I can tell you that Eberhardt's in 4th position after the 4th shoot, only 3 seconds down on Benny Vega, having missed 1 more target. So you would have thought that Eberhardt will be able to turn that around, but it depends a lot on how much they save for their final loop. And from the amount of teeth we can see from Eberhardt, he is in pain, working very, very hard. He needs to just gain a little on Vega, who started behind him. There you go, 12.6. He's got the lead at the moment. Hoffer pushed down a 2, Bauer down a 3, and Eberhardt happy with that. That will send him into the next round of races with lots and lots of confidence. A sprint and a pursuit still to come from these tracks here in Oestersund, as we watch Fillon Maillet looking to put himself into the top 5. Podium's not out of the question. Needs to exit. Well, actually, he needs to exit 44.35, so he's not going to be in the top 3, I don't think, when he comes out. That's lovely shooting.
Magnificent.
Really good shooting.
And now with his good skiing speed, he's got all the split times ahead of him. Of course, he needs to pick up his pace. Ader's there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I think he might go into 2nd or 3rd, because of course some of those who were in a good position after 3 have gone and missed, and he's got himself into 2nd for now, 45.07. And he's still got 1:32 to make up on Johannes Tingesbo. He's a long way clear, over 30 seconds clear of Babikov of Russia. So that's great shooting. Here comes Benny Vega. No, it's not working for him. Eberhardt has been able to pull out the stops on the last 4K. Vega was leading Eberhardt after the 4th shoot, but that order has been well and truly switched. Number 70, just a glimpse of Thomas Hasilla of Slovakia, and Vega on the last couple of turns now before he comes down into the stadium. Eric Lesser right behind him.
Now the interesting thing on the track, as Vega comes in, Patrick, of course Martin Fourcade in 6th position after the 4th shoot, but all he needs is 3 seconds to move up into 4th.
10 seconds to move up into 3rd. I think Babikov needs warning that he's got to produce something special over the last 4K. Here comes Benny Vega. 55.42 has come and gone. Bauer's time of 56.06 is going to be bettered, so Vega goes into 3rd. He won't stay there for long, but he has to be happy with the start of that race. Great shoot. And
Svensson out on the track. He's just gone through 18.8. He's hunting down Vega's time. He's got 7 seconds to pull back in this final 1.2 kilometers. Babikov looking tired.
We should pick up on Svensson before too long. Started number 33. Babikov started a minute in front of him, 3.1 inside. So now, where's your money? I think I'd still have my money on Eberhardt winning that one come the finish.
Well, now that's the hard work part of the course complete, and Babikov is running at the same speed as Eberhardt, but I still think, like you, that yes, Eberhardt should have the advantage.
52.54. Fourcade after 10 seconds down on Babikov when he left the range. He certainly closed that margin to 1.1, and that little injection, that dynamic dancing V1 that we see from Fourcade so often when the track gets its hardest.
Well, this is a broken spirit. Martin struggling over the crest, over the top of that hill, but he's got 1.1 seconds to pull back on Babikov. He's probably going to do it.
Shapulin, only 1 miss, but down in 7th. The ski form is not quite there at the moment for Anton Shapulin. Yeah, I think he's slightly surprised with the way things have gone so far. After shoot number 4, Russia had Babikov in 3rd, and of course Shapulin was down in 12th, so he's likely to finish outside the top 10 at the end of the day. Simon Schemp, 18 out of 20, good but not good enough here in Oestersund. Last year that would have been pretty handy as we had such windy conditions. 110 the margin. Eberhardt, Hofer, Vega, Bauer, Austria, Italy, Switzerland, Slovenia. Just like the women's race, Mike, if you'd put money on the top 3 to win, you'd be you could retire today.
It's strange, and that's why I like this first race. You just don't know who's on form, or you've seen some of the training results. The shooting is all important here, as Babikov is showing. Hitting those 20 is vital.
Svensson trying to get himself into the top 5. He's just 0.3 of a second down on Clement Bauer, going through the 19.6 mark. Has he managed to make that up over the last 400 meters? Oh, he goes into 5th position. Dessieux pushed down into 6th position. But he's going to drop, because here comes Martin Fourcade, the race leader at this stage at 19.6. But a minute behind him, Johannes Tingesbo is flying. Johannes Tinges just coming out of the woods. You might just have picked up on him as we watch Anton Babikov across the line. Eberhardt on 55.42. We thought he might survive as the race leader. He is going to survive. It's going to be desperately close, but Babikov missing out on top spot by, what, couple of seconds. 3.2 the margin. And Hofer now down into 3rd place.
Well, Babikov put so much good work in the tough part of the course, and then the technical glidey part. I wonder if his skis were just a little slower.
Yeah, Hofer needs to get on the podium now to take a selfie because he's going down. Here comes Martin Fourcade, despite the fact that he has missed 2. He's worked hard on this last loop, Mike, and it's done some damage. 55.42, just inside. He's the new race leader. Eberhardt 2, Babikov 3, and we're just waiting for it all to change again.
It will, and out on the track, incredibly, Johannes Tingesbo could actually take a little cup of coffee, but he's closed down, or he's taken a further 4 seconds out of Martin Fourcade, who was in a real hurry to get to that finish.
I think he's trying to do to Fourcade what Fourcade did to him last year. They shot the same, and Fourcade in the last couple of laps took some 29.5 seconds off Johannes Tingesbo. Rastoguyev, after he was down in 6th last time we saw, and he was some 19.6 off the race leaders, and he was down in 8th after the final shoot. So another good run. If he goes top 10, he'll be delighted with that, and cause for celebration in the Latvian camp. 21.2 the margin. You know, despite the pain, he's still got a smile on his face. That's
a wonderful start for Rastoguyev. Okay, 6th, he's going to drop down to 7th. Amazing. I'm just looking at what Johannes Tingesbo is doing today. After the 4th shoot, I know there's still athletes out there, but well, at 19.6 kilometers, he's 2:15 ahead so rarely, and here he is. Do we see this race won by more than 2 minutes? Fourcade did do it 4 years ago in the previous Olympic season. He won this race by 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and Johannes is probably going to beat the rest of the field by a larger margin.
Johannes Tingis with, what, 100 metres or so to go. Second in this race last year with a time of 52.03. He's slower than that this year because of the snow conditions, but that perfect shoot has given him a lead at 2:14. No one is going to better that score. We have our winner for the day, and 53.24 will stand. Second last year, he was 8th in the World Championships, but what's important to him is he's now off 13 wins, on to number 14.
That's pretty good. He's 24-year-old with 14 victories, 14 wins under his belt. And I think what will delight Johannes today and his coaches is that there wasn't even a hint of an error on the shooting range. The perfect 20. And in all the finishers so far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect 20 out of 20s. And of course, yesterday in the women's race, we had 12 of the women hitting 20 out of 20.
Well, I think I have to do a little bit of careful research, but I think that pushes Johannes Tingis up to 4 in terms of active biathletes, in terms of number of wins. Simon Schemp, of course, is on 12. He's some way off Svensson, who's lying in 3rd with 38 wins.
Good to see Jaakko. He lost his nerve a little there, but he composed himself, moved his legs a little.
Take your time,
Beautiful.
Take your time. He's nailed it. He has nailed it. So Fak and Bauer shooting well, Rastoguyev shooting well. They've all been on the range a lot this summer, and it has paid off. 45.56 at the moment. He's nowhere near Johannes Tingesbo, but 7th place, 2:23 behind, and he's got to gain, what, 10 seconds to catch Martin Fourcade. That might be tough. He's got to gain 10.5 to catch Eberhardt. That will be tough. So I think he might have to settle for a top 7 at the best. Nice shot of Johannes Tingis crossing the line. One of 5 men to shoot the perfect score. We may get better than that in the end, but 5 clear at the moment. 12 women shooting clear in yesterday's individual. Won, of course, by Scardino, getting her first ever win. Sulumdal in 2nd place, Jima in 3rd. Tonight, it's almost certainly going to be a Norwegian victory. Fionn Maillet might end up as the best of the rest. And if he takes Martin Fourcade's scalp, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And you have to remember how dominant Fourcade has been in the individual races. 4 wins here. He's got, what, 2 world titles. He's got an Olympic title in the individual.
Well, Fourcade, Martin has been the best ever 20-kilometer individual race biathlete of all time. The amount of victories, the steadiness on the range. So Fionn Maillet, I think he's going to beat Fourcade probably by about 11 seconds, and that's got to be a good feeling for Fionn Maillet. His ski speed is just under 2 minutes slower than Martin Fourcade.
He's actually got 3 world titles, hasn't he, in the individual. 55.38, he's well inside. That's a really good finish from Fillon-Maillet, and it shows that when he needs to, he can fight. 2:01 behind. He left the range with a margin over Martin Fourcade of, well, actually quite substantial. He was, what, 42 seconds clear of Fourcade at the start of that last lap.
Well, he knew that he had to work for it, Fillon-Maillet. He knew that Martin would be angry missing 2, and it set, well, the fastest last lap time.
Taillebout, and it all went wrong for Taillier on the last shoot. Ended up with 3 misses in all, having looked as though it was going to be competitive. As you can see, the first stand was also a little bit shaky. So we're not going to see the 2 Bird brothers on the podium together. Could well happen again this season. He's skiing fast enough, and Svetkov on 57.35 just misses out on 16th place, and Berg could well stay top 20 come the end of the day. But we had a big field, 108 starters, so plenty more to come across the line.
Nu är det alltså Norge, Frankrike, därefter Österrike, Ryssland, Italien, Schweiz, Lettland, Slovenien. Norge bland de tidigare.
Welcome back to Oestersund, top right-hand corner of your screen. Eric Lesser, who's one of the latest starters, who's still challenging for a top 5. Might have thrown that away with that miss on the second shot. Skiing fast, shooting fast, Eric Lesser this year. But 2 misses on your final shoot. Very, very expensive, as Martin Fourcade has found out this evening. Having said that, he's still in the podium positions. Remarkable, having missed 2.
Now, we just saw a caption of Loginov there. He's only missed 1. I think I'm right in saying that. It just sort of flash up. So after his 3rd shoot, so he's at 2 minutes 20 odd behind, I think, at this moment.
Anyone else we can pick out who we haven't seen? The Americans, Mike.
Yeah,
Lowell Bailey, disappointing.
World champion Lowell Bailey at the finish, or at the finish line. He's 8 minutes 11 behind here, missing 4. I think he'll be disappointed. I know he's not putting a lot of importance on these races. It's all about February in his last ever season. But Tim Burke as well. It hasn't been a great day for Tim. Just trying to get he has 3 penalties, 5:24 behind at the finish. And the Canadians, not the best day at the moment. Christian Gau missing only 1, 6:20 behind, but 30th position at the moment at the finish. It's not bad at all. And hitting 19 out of 20 is credit today.
Jacqueline about to start for France on his 3rd shoot. Interesting interview with Lowell Bailey in the on the Biathlon World website, worth a read. I was interested by his sort of attitude to his World Championship win, and it's worth pointing out that he'd done it was his 303rd international biathlon race, either World Cup or World Championships or Olympics, and it was his first win. That's phenomenal staying power to stay around that long. So that was the first thing that he pointed out, but also saying that when you ski at the speed he does, and there are only, what, 3 or 4 men who can ski themselves out of trouble should they miss. You're just waiting for that perfect day when the shooting goes right, when the skiing feels fantastic, and he happened to have it on a World Championship day.
Things have to go perfectly well, and of course Lowell, what was it, 8th I think at the Olympic Games. He missed one, had take that one away, he would have been on the podium, and it must have been so satisfying to put it right. What about this man and the confidence to paint your gun gold in an Olympic year? He's just got one intent, and I love the confidence. A lot of athletes have gone for this gold look, and why not? But this man is super confident. Always is, always will be.
Jakob Fak, one of those to clear all the targets. 2:48 behind, a little bit surprising. He's not at his best, but what an encouraging start to the season for Jakov. And we know, Mike, that when he's on the form, he's medal potential. He's done it before.
He's one of these athletes, Jakov, from very little background. In his early days from Croatia, not a leading nation, of course. I think ranked 29th in the world at the moment, and it was taken under the belt of Uroš Velepech, Slovenian, and that's what's made him great, helped make him great. And as you say, the major competitions, Olympics, World Championships, Jakov has done so well there, and I think he'll be back to his best as the season progresses.
We've got a nice mix of nationalities in the top positions at the moment, but Norway and France dominating the top 3. Koiv for Estonia, and 5 misses. It's a massive, massive margin, 10% at least added to his time. And tonight, he cannot blame the wind. We've been here before and had all the advertising hoardings and satellite dishes flying all over the place. It's beautifully calm. It'd be nice to have a bit of wind at some stage throughout the weekend.
Yes, I hope so. That will change things for the sprint competition. But I am surprised that the finish, so far, of course, there's more to come. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect shoots so far. The wind has been tricky, sometimes from the left, changeable to the right, and then also coming towards you as you're firing down the range. You just feel Martin, for the first time in a long time, his spirit will be a little down to not so much about the fact that he's second, but the fact that he missed 2 out of 5 when it mattered most. Jakob Fak got them all. So he'll be the 5th athlete with bib number 58 coming in to clear all 20. He's certainly not on his best form. Look at the time. He'll be well over 2 minutes behind.
Beaten by Rostoguyevs, and Bauer on 56.06 will survive. I think Svensson is going down into 11th place. Or was it Fak into 11th? Let's just check that. Fak 11th, Svensson survived in 10th as we watch Uliana Bjorndalen. 1 miss early on. That's a good finish. That's a good finish. There were many a day when he could hit 19 and be guaranteed a win, but not anymore. He needs all 20 to have any chance at all. The margin is still going to be, it's over 3 minutes, so lots of work on the form needed for Bjorndalen, but good shooting. Johannes Kuhn, 5 misses and 6:23 behind, so a minute and a half or so given away to Johannes Tingesbø. That's not too bad. Mike, in terms of Norwegians, how does Bjorndalen lie? Has he made the top 4? I think he might well have done.
I'm just checking now where he sits. Bjorndalen 15th after that 4th shoot. Ahead of him in terms of Norwegians, we've got Björkland, we've got Svensson, and of course we've got Johannes Tingesbø. Terje Bø is down in 22nd, so Bjorndalen will survive as at the, well, there's still Labbe Lund out there, but at the moment he's surviving in top 4 Norwegians.
And there's one Scott Dixon still out there, or is he finished?
Scott, no, hasn't finished yet. He's
Won't be far away.
Missed 3 in total. It's not bad shooting on a day like today, but he needs 19 or 20.
34th place for green with 5 minutes.
Well, that's a good ski time from Johannes Kuhn.
Yeah. Eric Lesser also skiing pretty well, so I think the Germans are in quite good shape as we watch Alexander Loginov. Paul Schomer of USA in front of him. There's Loginov, and 14 out of 15 so far. If he can stay 2:20 behind, he will get himself a top 6 position. Might even go into the top 5, actually, because it would put him very, very close to his teammate Babikov.
Of course, Loginov, don't like talking about it, but one of those who has served a 2-year ban. Back to his racing. I think he was banned after the Olympic season, or was it leading in? He was certainly a very talented junior, winning many medals at junior level.
And the standings with still some 30 athletes plus to finish here in Oestersund. But a nice peppering of clear shoots. Jakob Fack down in 11th, slightly surprised. One of his best shoots we've ever seen. We'll have to check to see whether he's ever hit 20 before in an individual. I think possibly not. Lindström for Sweden down in 21st, 3 misses. 144 behind would have put him into the top 2. So he knows that he's still a man that can make the podium.
Yes, and of course Jakob Fack, the World Championship title in rope holding back in 2011 in this race. I think he did get 20 on that day. Well, keeping it consistent with a 2-2-2-2, but not a great score. 8 penalties, 8 minutes added onto his time. Sinopov.
Yeah, the Bulgarians have struggled a little bit today. Here's Nora, new member of the German team. I think the Germans are much better at giving their new skiers, or those who are knocking on the World Cup team, giving them an opportunity. I think when they had the famous 4, the Grosses, the Lux, the Fischers, I think they just stuck with what they had, and no one else got a chance to come through.
Well, and I like the way the German team operate on a rotation. You're absolutely right, to prevent this regular top 5 all the time.
Lave Lund. It's a nice solid shoot from Henrik Lave Lund, and will give him every chance of getting into the top 4 in terms of the Norwegian squad. There's Eric Lesser just finishing his run. He's gone into 16th place, and I think he is the fastest of those who have missed 3. Lave Lund missing 3 as well, needs a good final lap.
Well, Eric will be delighted. I make Eric Lesser 3rd fastest ski time, if my calculations are right at the moment. It looks like Johannes, then Martin Fourcade and Lesser.
Well, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because I think Martin Fourcade might have a faster course time than Johannes Tinges Bo. Bo was taking, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds off Fourcade on every shoot.
Yeah, the shooting's so important. But that's Martin's style. He could buy himself some recovery time if Loginov is rattling through his last 5.
Yeah, he's sort of got that 5 seconds per shoot available should he need it.
Yes, he has. Yeah, and we'll see Martin shooting faster in the sprint competition. This is a good performance from Loginov, just 1 mistake. Top 10 potential. He'll be given all the timings. Paul Schomer there, bib 92, was introduced to World Cup racing from what? From January onwards last year.
Well, this race will run another 15 minutes or so at most, as we see number 69, Torsten Sternesson, finishing his race with a sprint, but still 5:40 off the pace, 3:40 given away out on the tracks. That's a big margin to try and make up.
Well, it hasn't been a great day for the Swedes. This is the training base. So often training, knowing this track so well. Lindström 22nd, missing 3, 4:44 behind. At the moment, best of the Swedes.
Now Bjorn Dahlen's going to get a fairly good reception when he comes in here. I think he'd be happy with 19 out of 20, Mike.
I think he will. He's had a couple of setbacks leading into the racing season. It's certainly not looking the magical Bjorn Dahlen we've seen. He's graced the tracks, what, since 1992. But I'm sure we'll see it back. Slightly heavy on the planting of the left foot. It used to just slide forward up into the hill.
Now he took the gold medal in Sochi in the sprint event, thanks to Shapulin missing on the very final shot. I don't believe he's quick enough to win a sprint nowadays. So really the individual, which has been his weakest race over the years, is that his only chance?
It's an interesting one. I think we're seeing him way off pace at the moment. I think it's his best chance, the individual, but it needs to be 20 hits. Today he's hit 19.
But we saw him racing brilliantly in the pursuit and the mass start at the World Championships in Austria last year. But his weak link then was the final lap. He just couldn't hold on to his position.
Yes, it's going to be very tough. The pursuit also, but he needs a good result in the sprint, which, as you maybe alluded to, maybe he doesn't have that anymore. I think we wrote him off 4 years ago. We said, well, is it possible at 40 to win a gold medal at the Olympics these days? And we did all this analysis, and I've always believed in him. So I'm going to continue believing in him, and I do think he can produce a medal, at least at the Olympics. And of course it may be the relay.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, if it's going to be gold, is the relay the one?
Yes, and at the moment he is still top 4 in the Norwegian team.
Well, despite not winning today, Martin Fourcade still the favourite to take the biggest haul of medals in next year's Olympic Games. He started the season well. He'd love to have got the win, but third place, having missed 2, is quite impressive. Fillon Maillet, toast of the French team tonight, with his second place, hitting all 20 targets, but a whopping 2 minutes and 1 second behind the race winner. Fillon Maillet, take nothing away from him, but he's got work to do to catch this man. Johannes Tingesbo skiing incredibly fast from the first metre and shooting quicker than most.
Yeah, totally on top of his game today, Johannes Tinges.
Could have missed 2 and 1.
It's quite amazing. Yeah, when this man hits all 20, or in the sprint race, when he hits all 10, as he did in Oslo, the last World Cup of last season, he's going to win these races.
Yeah, no gold medals from the World Champs last year for Johannes Tinges. He got himself a few silvers. He was right in the mix, but didn't quite have that ski speed that he needed. Now here comes Bjorn Dahlen, just up the work rate for the last 500 metres. 3:41 the margin at the moment, so 2:41. He's a kilometre behind Johannes Tingesbo. That's a margin of something like 5%. That's
quite a margin. It's certainly not in form, and that's why the Norwegians have put him down in group, what is he, group 4 I think he is. Brendan Green there sticking with them.
Now, Bjorn Dahlen was 9th in the World Cup standings last year, which was the best we've seen for a few years from him. Do you think we'll see him race as much as he did last year, or do you think he'll just pick and choose? The selectors will say you have to be here and you have to be there, but do you think he'll say this is what I want to do?
I think he might have that option. Clearly, it's not a lot of fun when your name's Ole Einar Bjorn Dahlen to be not on form. It's the first time in his career we've seen him off form by this margin. But I'm quite sure we'll see him come back. He maybe needs this kind of outing to get the spark back.
2:43 behind would still have put him into the top 10. Actually, would have put him level with his teammate Svensson. So then we would have been saying, well, that's impressive. But he's been outskied by Svensson by 3 minutes.
Simon Forcat to 25th place. Outstanding win today for Johannes Tingnesbø ahead of Quentin Fillon-Maillet and Martin Forcat. Fredrik Lindström and 20.
Here's Labe Lund coming up towards 18.8, just 1,200 metres to go, most of which is downhill, just coming up to the high point of the course. It's about the only forgiving thing about this course here in Oestersund. How many courses finish with a long uphill?
Antholz, you've got that.
Is probably the toughest.
That rise, yeah. You've got recovery in the field, and then you've got the rise
actually,
up to the finish.
quite a tough finish, and then that long straight into the finish is just a little bit up, having done the big climb up through the woods.
I think, yeah, Oberhof with that little omega now they put on the hill where the spectators used to stand. This is good skiing from Labe Lund. At this stage, he's still a long way behind Ole Einar Bjørndalen. Bjørndalen was 3:37 behind at that point on the track. Labe Lund is 4:19 behind.
Yeah, top 20 would be a good achievement from Labe Lund. What about logging off 19 out of 20? And this might well be the best of the Russian performances today. Babikov's in 5th at the moment, 2:20 behind. In fact, he's going to miss out on that. Still got some way to go before he stops the clock at 18.8. So second best Russian, I think.
Yeah, certainly. And Shipulin, when you look at his ski time as well, he's down in 14th position. And Shipulin, 3:25 behind. Remember, the same shooting as Bjørndalen, who was only 3:43 behind. So Shipulin not on magic ski form. And Loginov also. And Babikov hitting the perfect 20 shots is still 2:20 behind Johannes Tingnesbø. So the Russian team not on ski form.
Yeah, but Ostersund ski form is bears no
in an Olympic
correlation to post-Christmas ski form.
No, not at all. Not at all. Plenty time to. All the training, the heavy loading training is now behind, and it's about trying to recover. And how do you recover going into a half marathon, practically a 20-kilometer? Total climb today is over 700 meters, so it's a huge punch, this race, as the first major or individual of the season.
Yeah, and a major disappointment for the German team.
American team will walk away disappointed, the German team disappointed, the Russians, yes, some good shooting, but not good skiing.
But great to see Switzerland, Italy, Latvia, Slovenia all in the top 10 positions. The Austrians are there as well with Julian Eberhardt, who really set the mark early on. Started number 2, Eberhardt, and he is still lying in 4th position. So Johannes Tingis leading, and he's going to stay there. Fillon-Maillet is safe in 2nd. Martin Fourcade is safe in 3rd position. And Eberhardt and Babikov are going to make up the top 5 come the end of the day. Lukas Hofer, actually, Mike, we were pretty hard when he missed 2 shots early on, but he's come through. He skied really well. He's only 30 seconds down on Johannes Tingnesbø.
Yeah, and that is the 3rd fastest. He's just out-skied Svensson by 12 seconds.
And Labe Lund 57.38, just missing out on the top 20, but plenty of World Cup points. And crucially, he has got himself, well, I was going to say he's got himself ahead of Bjørndalen. He's not quite managed that because Bjørndalen's still in 17th position. So he's finished as one of the top 4 Norwegians.
Loginov just scraping into the top 10 there. He still holds only, what, 3 seconds ahead of Clement Bauer. He will have been given that information, so he needs to keep the pace strong to the finish line.
Loginov, one of the last big names to start here tonight of the 108 starters. The numbers will come down once we start the second period of the biathlon season after Christmas.
Yaroslav Sukup still out there.
And so just over the 56-minute mark, 19 hits out of 20, so 138, really the best he could have hoped for. But when he looks at the results and sees that that would have been worth second place, I think Loganov can be happy with his night's work.
Sammanfattning här, vi ska ta in ett par killar till där borta. Rullar på skärmen och så ska vi in när vi har fått en annan. Certainly, we have all the athletes to the line. We will have, of course, a certain Roland Lessing, the veteran of the Estonian team, number 59. Summary of the best. Johannes Tingnesbø, outstanding winner of the race with a clean shooting in 53.24.5. 2 minutes 1 second ahead of 12 on my year front. Marta Fourcade with 2 minutes is number 3. Fourth is Julian Eberhard Austria. Fifth, Abdul Malik of Russia. Number 6, Lukas Hofer of Italy. 7, number 9 is
So the end result here in Oestersund sees Johannes Tingnesbø on top of the result sheet. His 14th win, his first individual victory ever, his first victory here in Oestersund, and of course he won the relay, the mixed relay with Norway last Sunday. So a cracking start to his season. Martin Fourcade having to settle for second place on the day, and it all went wrong on that fight. Third place, I should say, behind Fionn Maillet, because Fourcade missing 2 on that last shoot. No such mistakes from Johannes Tingnes. Beautiful shooting from him. Very quick, 11-12 seconds for preparation for that first shot, then averaging around 2.8 in between each of the shots. And that sort of consistency and speed gaining him a little extra advantage over Fourcade on every loop. Maybe that was what put the pressure on the Frenchman.
Yeah, totally fearless, the aggressive, the attacking nature of his race, unbeatable.
Well, let's have a look at the stats for Johannes Tingnes. 14 World Cup wins, as we said, out of 122 starts. So that's really, really good going.